Hi everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel Fitness with Computer Geek. In the last episode of book review section of Rich Dad and Poor Dad, I have given reviews on 6 lessons of Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was, I guess, work to learn, don't work for money. As you know, the 6th lesson was only you can say the last lesson that Robert Kiyosaki discussed in his book Rich Dad and Poor Dad. I have told you in the introductory part that he has divided this book into 10 chapters. Last 6 lectures were on the lessons that Rich Dad had taught him. In the next chapter, that is 7th chapter, and after that 9, 8, 9, 10, in the last 3 chapters he have shown you how to practically apply those skills. And although now you have learned those skills, but they still face some road blocking and becoming financially independent. So what are those fears that hinder them to achieve independence? That he discussed in the 7th chapter, that is overcoming obstacles. Okay, so without wasting time, let's begin our episode. Okay, so in this lesson on overcoming obstacle, Robert had discussed about some kind of fear that hindered still after you gone through all the lessons can hinder you achieve the financial independence. So he have discussed in this chapter what could be the fears, what are the different obstacles that you have to face while achieving our financial independence. Number 1 is fear, number 2 is cynicism, number 3 is laziness, number 4 is bad habits, and number 5 is ignorance. Okay, so he have discussed about all these points, 5 obstacles in this chapter. Okay, so first obstacle is fear. So he discussed about all kind of fear. Most basically he discussed about that everyone, even the rich, have fear to lose money. So he discussed about it's not about it's a natural thing to have a fear of losing something, but it then distinguishes you by by how you handle the fear. It's how you handle the losing. So primary difference between a rich person and poor person is how they handle the fear. So his dad always said, if you have always worry about losing everything, just start early at your early 20s or mid 20s. Okay, it is the best time to start. If you worry too much about your future, if you worry too much about you are scared of losing the money, okay, and everything, so begin early. That the rich dad used to say to Robert. Okay, so rich dad always said that people are so afraid of losing, they actually lose. Okay, this fear destruct their mindset and they actually lose. Okay, so most people, the reason being not meaning financially, because the fear of losing money is greater than the joy of being rich. Okay, that's why they fail. That's why most people are poor. So now Robert have said, now the most natural question is those who have feared in this thing. So how do we handle fear? So here he shared about experience with his dad. His dad always used to share the story of Alamos, the fort that residing in Texas, where some Texas soldiers and Tennessean soldiers fought bravely against the Mexican army in I think 1830s. But the people at fort in Alamo know that they're gonna lose, but still they fight. So this story always motivate all the Texan to handle fear. Okay, so this Texan policy is also used by his dad. You can see the movie Alamo, which was released in 1960 by starring John Wayne also. Okay, although the author has not discussed it here, so I have seen this movie. It's very interesting movie. That's why you will learn many things about it. So please watch this movie. Okay, so it is not given in this book, but I discuss with you anyhow. Okay, so every time he has is that thing that he will lose money, he always remind the story of the Alamo that gave him strength, and there will always make him stronger and smarter. So what we can conclude in that fear inspire winning, failure inspire winner, failure defeat losers. So now author also talked about from the movie Tora. Also this movie is a Grundle. It is 1970 release. You can watch this movie. It is some kind of documentary part, but some modification of this step. But you will learn about how the Pearl Harbor attack led the US to be joined the Allied force in the World War in the year 1941. Actually, the World War started in 1939, but USA joined after the Pearl Harbor attack by the Japanese. Although he was an American Japanese, but he shared this story that the Pearl Harbor gave a great defeat to Americans. But but after this incident, they become a world power. They dropped 2 nuclear bombs in Japan and end the World War II. Okay, so you can imagine. So you can take example from here that how failure inspire winners and failure defeats losers. So it is the biggest secret of winner that loser doesn't know, which is greatest secret is failure always inspire winning. So they are not afraid of losing. So failure always inspire them to win. So they are not afraid of losing. So if you fail, then you will get inspired by that next time I will definitely become success. So this inspire will lead you to work more harder. So these are not known by a person, actually losers. Okay, so they just don't follow by this rule. They have done on own rules. That's why they are losers. So most people are so much have extreme level of fear of losing money, so they start to playing it safe as a defense mechanism. They buy big houses and big cars, but they forget to buy big investments. So main reason that over 90% of people struggle financially because they play not to lose. They don't play to win. They just play not to lose. Okay, so there is difference. They just play to not to lose. So they have fear that they will lose. So just why they play safe, which I have also discussed on the introductory part, that always then fear drive them to achieve something. Okay, it's not a motivation behind it. So playing it safe is a great profile for someone who didn't want to lose. Playing it safe and balance on your investment is not the way that successful investors play the game. Okay, there is difference between them. So if you have little money, so you did not have to balance it. You have to just focus more. Okay, so always the great investor always focus more rather than balancing it. Balance come later, focus come first. So if you hate losing, just play it safe. And if losing make you weak, play it safe. So remember this: the building a asset column is a very gutsiest thing, and it's all about attitude. Take guts, patience, and great attitude towards failure. So losers always avoid failures, and failures turn losers into winners. Just remember this thing. Okay, it's very great thing you share it here. Okay, so if you some of the people getting it, they will definitely escape the rat race here. That's also want to convey here. Okay, so now our next obstacle is overcoming cynicism. So what is cynicism actually? So cynicism is always all about fear and all the doubts. Just like little chicken, he always thought that the sky is falling, and he didn't do anything. But all of us have doubt that I'm not smart, I'm not good enough. All our doubt often paralyzes us. We play the game. What if this happen? What is the economics crisis? What is this happen again? If I take this investment, what will happen? And it doesn't go along. What is the economics crisis right now? I start investing. So these are all the fear that paralyzes our thoughts. Or in the next way, we have some friends and loved ones who always remind us of our shortcomings. They often say that what way makes you think that you can do it. Most of you have heard about this, and they would say that if according to you it is good idea, how come anyone else hasn't done it yet, and that will never work, you don't know what you're talking about. They always remind you of your shortcoming, that you cannot do this, you cannot do this. If it is this true, that how come people have done this? So these are shortcomings that always the relatives and friends and loved one try to remember you everything. Why? Because they haven't done anything in their life. They just have always criticized anything instead of analyzing it. Okay, so don't listen to those relatives and friends always. Okay, if you have any idea, be on it. Don't take any recommendations from anyone. They will just the world is not motivate you. They will just provide you destructive thought and negative thought about this. Okay, so remember this point. So these words of doubt become so large that we are failed to act. We lose our sleep. We think that they might be right, so we must play it safe. We always think like that. So most people are pure because when it's come to terms of investing, they always filled with little chicken around yelling the sky is falling, you cannot do this. Like that. Okay, so most of it take great courage to destroy all the rumors and do about fear and doubt. Take lots of courage to do that. But the savvy investor know whenever it is worst time of investing, they find a best way to investing. When everyone fail to see the you can say the opportunity, they pull the trigger and get rewarded. This is done by the only courageous investor. Okay, they don't play by the rule of playing it safe. They always take a risk, and they know how to manage that risk. Author Robert gave example of one of his friend Richard, who was inspired by what Robert and his wife doing for his stock and marketing. So inspired by that, he started to doing it. But after some time, Robert get call from the agent that Richard had quit it. He have taken a step back. So curious about this, Robert called Richard and asked him why did he do that. Then Richard told him that their neighbors told him that it's not a good idea, you shouldn't do that. So then Robert asked him, is your neighbor as investor? So then Richard replied that they are not. So why are you listening to them? Why are you listening to them? If they haven't done anything, how dare they advise you? They are not a right to advise you if they haven't done this yet, and they are scared to do it. So that's why they demotivate other people to not to do it. So demotivated by it, that make him offensive, and he told that he just wanted to get more option. So this is the case of most of the people here around. They just listen to other people talking trash about this and that, and which they haven't done, and giving you advice like they are winners of this, king of the world, like that, something like that. Don't listen to them.